folks. Playing Gwent in the middle of this March faction challenge, Monsters versus Northern Realms. And I've opted to play Greatswords at this point as I push my way towards the top of the ladder and hopefully hit Grandmaster sometimes in the next week. I think this deck is pretty well set up right now. It's good against the weather-based monsters decks. It's good against the armor-based Northern Realms deck, Blue Strike Commander Northern Realms deck. It's okay against Henselt. It comes down to the coin flip a lot of the time. In general, it's just I think a good overall deck. The demon units in particular, I think, are just very well kind of positioned right now. And the strategy of the deck, I think, is fairly unique and fairly robust. If you're not familiar, your engine card is Greatsword here. This has two critical roles in the deck. One, it's a damage sponge. Its ability says every 2 turns, if this unit is damaged, heal itself, and then strengthen itself by 2. So we play a bunch of units that deal damage to ourselves. Units like Light Longship, which deals 1 damage to the unit on its right every turn, and if it does, it boosts itself by 2. Units like Fret here, where he comes into play, deals damage to allies, and strengthens himself for each ally damaged this way. And units like Wild Boar of the Sea. These all have the effect of dealing damage to our own units, and because we can heal that damage off, we get kind of bonus for doing that. We also take advantage of the fact that the Greatsword is not just boosting itself, it's actually strengthening itself. As time goes on, this becomes a larger and larger cards, 10 points, 12 points, 14 points. By the time we get to round 3, we usually have 16, 20-point Greatswords in our graveyard, and then we can resurrect those with Priestess of Freya, Restore, or any other Skellige resurrection card. So the big idea with this deck is that for rounds 1 and 2, you kind of snowball. As the round goes on, you get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then in round 3, you have built yourself up very strong, even bronze cards. You've got 20 bronze cards to make short round 3 exactly what you're looking for. That makes this deck very similar strategically to Consume, but I think you have some strengths that Consume doesn't have, and you're not as weak to cards like Mandrake, say, as Consume is. So, that's the basic idea here. We play the Corsair and the Pirate Captain to support the longships, Reconnaissance to just make the whole bronze package a little bit more consistent. We play 3 pieces of control in Igni, Muzzle, and Mandrake, and we play a 3-part spy plan with him, Skjall, and our Silver Spy, which is a very strong spy plan. It's like the 3rd strongest spy plan in the game. So that works very well for us too. It does give us the occasional ability to use the coin flip. So that's the deck. We'll jump right in and you can see it go. The mulliganing with this deck is incredibly straightforward, especially compared to the decks that were playing previously, Dagon and Spies. Basically here, all your cards are valuable in every round, so you're not hugely worried about drawing any one card in particular. There's no bad cards. You're just trying to kind of sculpt hands that allow you to play points as efficiently as possible. So there's certain things like you want Fret in your opening hand, you want him in your opening hand, but not your Silver Cursed units, things like that. Okay, so we're looking at Consume over there, most likely. This isn't the best in the world, but it's not a terrible one. Unfortunately, this hand isn't great. We don't need these 3 Priestess, that's for sure. Have to have at least 1 Greatsword. We'll put another Priestess back here. The double Reconnaissance is a little unfortunate. I think we're going to put one of those back as well. Okay, Igni's not bad. So we won the coin flip at least. My opponent is playing Neckers here. We can just right off the bat try to muzzle one of those. It's not a terrible plan. If my opponent is all in on a single Necker, it's not bad. But if my opponent does have 2 Neckers, then it's a really bad plan. We're going to risk it in this particular case and see how that goes. Sometimes, they just concede there. But no, opponent does have a 2nd Necker in this case, and we don't have a Mandrake or anything like that to kind of follow up this punishment plan, so that's too bad for us. What we can do at this point is deploy ourselves a light longship and get that train rolling. Then my opponent will play a Necker Warrior. There we go. We will play a Greatsword. That's not a Greatsword. This is why I shouldn't talk and play at the same time. My opponent will play what, a Slizard or a Monster's Nest. Okay. I guess he needs something before he can use the warrior. We will play a Greatsword now. Get that train running. The major strategic goal in these games is just to never let your opponent win round one. You even go down 2 cards to make sure your opponent doesn't win round one, because if they do, they'll just play a really short round 2 that you can't really do anything about. So far, things are going pretty okay for us here. We get another Greatsword, which we have a couple lines on. A Reconnaissance could be bad here because there are still 2 Priestess of Freya in the deck. That's something that we do have to be aware of. But I don't think... Well, let's do this at least. Let's use one of these Pirate Captains to at least get our last light longship out of the deck, and then we can Reconnaissance so that we know at least we're not going to be hitting the light longship. Okay, so opponent just passes there. We are going to win round 1 on even cards, which is obviously very nice for us, but it means that we're going to have to be very careful here in round 2. We have to absolutely force our opponent to play their Arrakis Queen in this round. We're going to put back the Corsair because we have so many ways to tutor him out, and then we have to lead here. So, at this point, we're totally safe to play the Reconnaissance because we have nothing but good targets for it. Reconnaissance is going to find us a Corsair, and the Corsair is going to pull one of those boats out of the graveyard. Okay. Let's see. At this point, I think we might as well deploy the Wild Boar of the Sea. No reason not to. Wild Boar is going to strengthen the light longship to give me that as a possible resurrection target in round 3. It also sets up a pocket for us to stick our Greatsword into here. Opponent just continuing to set up their big combos. Nothing that we can particularly do about that, but it's all good. Let's play this Priestess, grab our Greatsword back, throw him into the pocket here. Cool. Normally, when I play this deck, I do play with a tracker, so I can see what the base strength of some of my boosted units are. The problem with doing that in a video is that the sound quality does suffer a little bit for it. Okay. So, we can now play our next Pirate Captain, get our final Corsair out of the deck, and bring back this longship. Our opponent is going to put themselves in a position where they have the Arrakis Queen, and we'll kill the Arrakis Queen with Igni. It's going to be nice for us. Let's see. I think at this point we're just going to Kroch. He's going to bring out Fret for us. And yeah, that's fine. If our opponent plays a Arrakis Queen right now, it's kind of perfect timing because we're ready to use the Geralt out of our hand. We're totally happy to keep our 2 resurrection spells for the next round. No, he's got a Summoning Circle instead, which is an interesting choice. Okay, so what exactly do we want to do here? If we kind of look at our unit count, we don't have another Corsair to fetch out of the graveyard. We don't have another Pirate Captain. We don't really have anything good to resurrect except the Lifelong Ship. We'll do that. There's really no reason not to give us another chance at having the opponent play a Arrakis Queen. And if they do, we may just win on the spot. Probably not, because my opponent still does have 2 active Neckers. But hey. Oh, he's not even going to eat both Neckers? Interesting. Okay, we will just Geralt the Arrakis Queen here. And see if my opponent can catch up these final couple cards of his. And if not, then otherwise it's going to come down to our last 2 cards versus him, and I like our last 2 cards quite a bit. Yeah, so he's going to double eat with the Fork Tail. So he is going to be able to get over here, but we're still going to have card advantage into the final round. There's nothing that we want to resurrect with Sigrifa, right? Yeah, so no, we're going to pass here. It's a Wispus. That's too bad. If we could have had a good resurrection target, that might have been okay. So now it's our 2 cards to their 1. That's not to say that there aren't single cards out of the Necker's deck that do a ton of work, but I still like our chances here quite a bit. Mandrake is a sweet draw, so we'll just keep that, because really anything that my opponent can play is going to rely a lot on on creating a Mandrake target. So we'll just finish there. We'll see what my opponent thinks they're going to do here. Just a Fork Tail. Okay. So we will resurrect our, it doesn't matter what we resurrect. We won this one. Cool. So that is the Consume matchup with Greatswords deck. That's not the most interactive matchup in the world. I get that. In fact, the most interactive decision that we made was the very first one to muzzle the Necker, and I do think that that was a good decision. But overall, really, that was just both of us executing our plan, and our plan just going a little bit better, which I think shows the strength of the Greatsword deck, if not the kind of more interesting aspects of it. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.